Sairam students, a warm welcome to all of you to today's English session. Today we are going to begin with the next lesson of your New Voices course book, and the name of the lesson is Educating Mother by Suganti Krishnamachari. Let me just brief you about the characters involved in today's lesson. Grandmother, we have mother, who happens to be the storyteller or the narrator. Ambu is narrator's 12-year-old daughter. Ramu, who happens to be narrator's 4-year-old son. Janaki, who is narrator's 6-year-old niece. And Venku, who is narrator's 3-year-old nephew. This lesson, Educating Mother, which is written by Suganti Krishnamachari, is a story filled with examples showing fancy and inquisitiveness of children who keep on interrupting the storyteller with questions and even doubts. So these children, Janaki, Ambu, Venku and Ramu, they are very inquisitive. They have a lot of doubts. So when the narrator begins with the story, they keep on asking her some or the other question. Now what does the narrator do? Does she answer them? Is she able to complete her story? Or she runs away from the situation? That we will understand once we begin with the lesson. So let's get started. A gentle reminder to all of you. Just go get your book and pen and be ready to jot down the important points and the hard words. Before that, students, story writing. This topic is covered in your live session. Now, all of you love stories. All of us, in fact, yes, don't we? Our grandparents, they always tell us stories. There are twin reasons for that. First is, it helps us to improve our vocabulary. Second, if you see these stories, they always leave a good message, a moral. So yes, stories are not only fun, but an interesting way to communicate, imagine, learn, dream, and remember. It's one of the oldest art forms. Stories are everywhere. Newspapers, books, television, internet, and even in our daily conversation. Now, there are few things that help make a great story. Let's jot down few qualities. Come on, recollect what is taught to you in your class. I'll help you out. First of all, there should be few characters. More the characters, your story will be confusing. Okay, then have a good plot. Give a good title, a catchy title which attracts the readers. Always let your story leave a moral. There should be a message that you want to convey through your story. It should be appealing to the readers. So these are few to name. There are many more that you will jot down in your book. So let's get started with our lesson, Educating Mother. It all started when my mother asked me to tell the children a story. I cleared my throat and began. Long ago. How long? Squeaked my 3-year-old nephew, Venku. Never mind, it was a long time ago. Let's get on with the story. So the narrator, she was asked by her mother. She basically grandmother asked her daughter to narrate a story to these children. So what she did, she cleared her throat and she began. Long, long ago. The moment she began, what happened? There was this 3-year-old squeaked. Squeaked is on a high-pitched sound. He asked a question. And what was that? How long ago? This question was asked very innocently. Okay, the narrator said, never mind. It was a long time ago. Let's get on with the story. Let's continue with something that we had begun. Let's continue with it. Try telling my history teacher that, said my 12-year-old daughter, Ambu. She insists that I get all the dates right in my history test. So when mother said long time ago, let's continue with our story, again she was interrupted. And this time who interrupted? It was Ambu. And what did she say? You tell this to my history teacher. Okay, try telling this to my history teacher. My history teacher always insists that I get all the dates right in my history test. Very much. Why? Because history, it's all about past events. So it's very important for all of you to remember the dates when those incidents have happened. So similar was the case with Ambu's history teacher also. Obviously, you cannot tell your teacher, long time ago there was a war. When it began, when it ended, there are dates. So you should mention those dates when asked. You cannot tell long, long ago. So this is what even Ambu said. You cannot, you try telling this to my history teacher. She will not accept it. So mother decides something. Let's see what. I decided to ignore her. There was this girl called Goldilocks. The names parents come up with, muttered Ambu. Thank God you didn't choose to call me long nose or saucer eyes. So mother, she decides to ignore her. Ignore her. Ignore whom? Ignore Ambu. And then she says, there was this girl called Goldilocks. I hope you've heard about the story Goldilocks and the Three Bears. So the moment she mentioned this name Goldilocks, she was again interrupted by Ambu. And what did Ambu mutter? What did Ambu tell? She said, what these parents, what names they come up with? Thank God you didn't call me long nose or saucer eyes. What's a saucer? A shallow dish where we keep our cup. Okay, cup and saucer we say. Okay, so she says, thank God you didn't keep my name as long nose or saucer eyes. The narrator continued. Goldilocks decided to go for a long walk. I continued. Did she have a weight problem? Asked my 4-year-old son, Ramu. No, she didn't. She went for a long walk and straight into the forest. Soon, she discovered that she was lost. So the moment narrator began with the story, she continued that Goldilocks, she decided to go for a long walk. And then there was another question. This time it was narrator's 4-year-old son Ramu. And what did he ask? Did she have a weight problem? Was she fat? To which mother said, no, she didn't. She went for a long walk and strayed into the forest. What is strayed? She moved away from a familiar place and she was lost into the forest. If she had a cell phone, she could have called her mother, said my 6-year-old niece, Janki. So when the narrator said that she was lost in the jungle, when Goldilocks was, she was lost in the jungle, Janki said, if she had a mobile phone, she could have easily called her mother and informed her that, she was lost in the jungle. Don't be stupid. They had no cell phones in those days, said Ambu. And when Janki said this, Ambu said, don't be stupid. That time there were no cell phones. So here I have an image from your textbook. This is basically, we have the grandmother sitting here, the narrator over here. This girl happens to be Ambu. This one is Janki. Here we have Ramu, and this little one over here is Venku. Oh, so it was that long ago, exclaimed Janki, as if the pre-cell phone era belonged to the antediluvian days. So when Ambu said, those days there were no mobile phones. So again Janki interrupted. She had something more to say. And what did she say? Oh, was it that long ago? As if the pre-cell era, that particular phone era belonged to the antediluvian days. So she was, she said as though this pre-cell is before these mobile phones came into existence. They belong to the antediluvian days. What is antediluvian days? Basically, it's a period of time that preceded great flood of Noah, which is mentioned according to the Bible. You can also say it is the ancient time. The poor thing came to a cottage that belonged to the 3 bears. She was so hungry that she made straight for the dining room. There, on the table were 3 cups of porridge. She had a sip from Father Bear's cup. It was too hot. Mother Bear's porridge was too cold. But the porridge in Baby Bear's cup was just right. So she drank the Baby Bear's porridge. Now this girl, Goldilocks, was very hungry. When she reached the cottage, which belonged to these 3 bears, she was so hungry that she went directly into the dining room. And there on the table, she found 3 cups of porridge. When she had a sip from Father Bear's cup, it was too hot. Mother Bear's cup, when she took a sip from there, it was too cold. And the Baby Bear's porridge, when she took a sip from there, it was just right. It was perfect. So what she did? She drank the Baby Bear's porridge. Actually, I think Goldilocks is a murder mystery, said Ambu. So when the narrator when she spoke about Goldilocks entering the cottage, again she was interrupted by Ambu. And what did she say this time? She said that she feels that Goldilocks is a murder mystery. Her reading consisted of staple diets of thrillers and romances, and her thoughts tended towards the macabre. This was too much even for me, indulgent mother though I was. A murder mystery. How can you be so stupid? Now when Ambu made this statement, the narrator just thought that, basically Ambu read more of thriller and romances. The books that she read, they were, she read all these mystery and, romantic novels. But her thoughts tended towards the macabre. She was, she had all these things in her mind. A macabre is basically fearful. Though she read this, but her thoughts, they always went towards macabre. This was too much for me. Even for mother, it was too much. When Ambu said that Goldilocks is a murder mystery, she was an indulgent mother Okay, the narrator was an indulgent. Who is an indulgent person? The one who allows others to do or have what they want to. So in spite of being an indulgent mom, she said, a murder mystery? How can you be so stupid? Well, how do we know it wasn't murder mystery? I have only heard your version of it. How do I know you haven't edited out all the interesting bits, but simply because you don't approve of murder stories? I think Goldilocks was an heiress. The house in the forest belonged to the person who stood to inherit the property if she died. Seeing her go into the forest, he must have put a bowl of poisoned porridge in the cottage. She must have drunk the porridge and died. The bears are only your invention. So Ambu tells her mother, well, how do we know it wasn't a murder mystery? I have heard only your version of it. So all this while, whatever you have told, I have heard only that. Okay, how can you say that it's not a murder mystery? What do I know? What if you have deleted or you have edited those parts while narrating the story to us? Just because you don't approve of murder stories, you don't like to read murder stories, maybe when you were narrating the story to us, you have edited this part. Okay, and then she also adds that she feels Goldilocks is an heiress. A woman who is legally entitled to the property or rank of another on that person's death. When you inherit someone's property, you become a heir or a heiress. So she says that Goldilocks was an heiress. The house in the forest. She also adds that that particular house belonged to the person who stood to inherit the property after Goldilocks died. So when that person saw Goldilocks going to the forest, he must have poisoned that bowl of porridge, which she drank and she died. These bears are only your invention. Nothing of this sort must have happened. The little ones were drinking in her words with awe. Clearly, her vision excited them more than mine did. Maybe Goldilocks was not the right choice. I would tell them some other story. I began the story of Red Riding Hood. So these little ones, when Ambu was, when she was creating her own version of Goldilocks, these little ones were, they were amazed, they were wondered, they were actually more towards her story than what mother was saying. Okay, because her version was more exciting than mother's version. So what she thought, maybe Goldilocks is not the right choice at this point of time. I will switch on to some other story. And so she began the story of Red Riding Hood. Red Riding Hood took a basket full of cakes and went off to visit her grandmother, who lived all alone in the forest. So she began with a new story of Red Riding Hood, where she, this girl, she carries a basket full of cakes for her grandmother, who lives all alone in the forest. Humans shouldn't encroach on forest land, said the environmentally conscious Janaki. So the moment mother began with the story, Janaki had something to say, and what she said, that human beings should not encroach on, should not intrude on, should not trespass on forest land. Very true. On the way, Red Riding Hood met a wolf and told it where she was going. The wolf took a shortcut to her grandmother's house and frightened off the old lady. The wolf then dressed in grandma's clothes. Presently, Red Riding Hood arrived. She looked at the wolf and said, "Grandma, why are your ears so big?" Ambu snorted. If one of us had mistaken a wolf for grandma, we would have been eaten by Grandma, even if the wolf had spared us. So, she says that this Red Riding Hood, she was on her way to meet her grandmother, and she happens to meet a wolf, and she tells the wolf where she was going. So what does the wolf do? The wolf takes a shortcut and reaches grandmother's house and frightens the old lady. And then this wolf, he dresses up like grandmother, and as soon as he does the wolf does this, Red Riding Hood enters the house. And then she looks at the wolf and she says, "Grandma, why are your ears so big?" The moment the narrator says this, Ambu snorts. What is snorted? It means to make a sudden explosive sound through one's nose. And what does she say? She says, if we made this mistake, if there was a wolf in front of us, and if we made this mistake of calling that wolf grandma, our grandmother would have eaten us. The wolf would have spared us, but our grandmother, she would have eaten us up. Even the youngest was shaking his head in disbelief. Grandmas don't look like wolves, do they? He asked. My mother was watching me carefully. I could sense an air of hostility gathering against me. So, even the youngest one was shaking his head in disbelief. Grandmas don't look like wolves. The youngest one is Venku. Even he said, Grandmas don't look like wolves, do they? And when Venku said this, the narrator, she looked at her mother and she could sense an air of hostility. What is air of hostility? Basically a feeling of unfriendliness. Grandmother was not liking this. Of course, grandmothers don't look like wolves. Red Riding Hood, forget Red Riding Hood. I'll tell you the story of Cinderella. So obviously she said, no. Grandmothers, they don't look like wolves. And then she added, forget about Red Riding Hood. I will tell you a story of Cinderella. So what happens when she tells the story? Is she successful to tell them the entire story of Cinderella, or the children again interrupt her? Let's find this out in our next class. What you will do is you will go through the lesson. We'll catch up very soon tomorrow, wherein we'll continue with the lesson. Till then, you will take care of yourself. Sai Ram and bye-bye.